Hey everyone, I'm Zach. Welcome to Altcoin Edge. Today we're going to be discussing Tribal, which is Coinlist's latest sale. So what is Tribal? Tribal is kind of like a corporate credit card made specifically for startups to help facilitate, among things, cross-border payments. Tribal cards are interest-free and they can be issued as a virtual or a physical or a digital card. However, there's no cash advances and it uses everybody's favorite world reserve currency, the one, the only, the US dollar. You can issue virtual cards with dynamic spending controls, and this also enables real-time tracking and monitoring. You also get rewards for spending, but these aren't really clear yet on the website. So in my mind, it sounds a tiny little bit like frequent flyer miles. Tribal is not exactly a bank, but Tribal works with banks and with the hugest, biggest one, Visa, and it allows for businesses to track expenses properly, view transactions in real time, and fully manage business expenses down to the very individual person, into the individual spender level. Tribal cards are completely interest-free, and Tribal are currently waiving all setup fees and user fees for startup as part of their project beta, which is, very, very nice. Tribal is for B2B, specifically startups, small to medium enterprises, in emerging markets like MENA, not to be confused with the protocol on Coinlist not too long ago, places like Asia Pacific and Latin America. And it's aimed to target entrepreneurs who struggle to access traditional finance services, like, opening bank accounts, getting business credit cards, getting a line of credit, and making cross-border payments. Emerging markets, small to medium enterprises have a lot different pains to ones in more developed nations. Tribal then goes on to say that it is for startups with seed Series A funding, but I'd like to make the point, surely those who have access to that type of funding already and don't have an ability to open a bank account, as Tribal previously mentioned, how does that work? That doesn't make much sense to me. Now, you got to take my opinion with a pinch of salt. I'm based in Western Europe. I don't have experience of trying to get a bank loan for a startup in a developing nation, and I'm not the target audience. So you must be aware of my biases and my shortcomings in this analysis. Tribal on its website mentions 3 key features, so to speak: corporate cards, which I've briefly alluded to. So if you're in UK, Ireland area, you can think of Revolut, but more for businesses. I quite like the hassle-free subscription management service because we use a fair amount of subscriptions ourselves, and it can become quite a pain trying to keep on track of all of them. So this is definitely a cool feature in my opinion. And then working capital lines. Your payment isn't due for 60 to 90 days after the Tribal invoice at the end of each month. So anyone who has set up a business ever knows that cash flow is really, really important, and if they can extend that to 60 to 90 days, Tribal will definitely be doing a service to a lot of smaller businesses just in general, never mind just in emerging markets. The CEO of Tribal is a man called Amir Shadi. I presume it's called Shadi, or Shady would be quite unfortunate. However, he seems quite above board. He founded TA Telecom almost 2 decades ago, and he's still executive chairman of the board. TA Telecom itself offers data-driven solutions and analytical solutions to target mobile users. And I ask you, what does that mean? Well, I would assume it's got to do with analytics, mobile marketing, social media marketing, and that type of things. And that is mainly based in Northern Africa, the Emirates, Middle East, and down as far as Rwanda. Amir comes across as quite an analytical type with a data scientist mindset. He has a master's in business analytics from the prestigious NYU and an undergrad in electrical engineering. Tribal Credit, the precursor or same thing as Tribal, I'm not exactly sure how this works because the names are a bit confusing, came as a spin-off from his research in NYU, in which he used AI to predict startup success at inception. Now, I have no idea how you go about do that, but I wonder did he use the same AI predictive models to predict the likelihood of Tribal success? So I guess we'll never know. Tribal itself has over 280 employees according to LinkedIn, and that's huge. And they have 14k followers on LinkedIn, which is far exceeds its Twitter or its Discord at the moment. So that's quite strange to see that on socials, because I do always have a look. Now, the debate is how true are the socials on many of these projects that we come across, but I just found I've never seen anything like that myself. I think it's also quite important to note a little bit of a general theme in in the Coinlist sales so far. We've had FDVs that are a lot higher, upwards around $1 billion, which is a lot. So I think the days of getting like an 8x, a 10x, a 12x straight off the bat on listing day for Coinlist projects are just gone. This is also coupled with the market being quite shaky at the moment. I know Bitcoin's at $38,000, which is more or less what it was at the start of the year, but it's gone up and down a bit, and the alts that are not at the same price they were at the start of the year when Bitcoin's at 38,000. So if you can imagine, if Bitcoin crashes down past 28 or around 28, I say the alts are going to suffer terribly, and that really means, right, all of your Coinlist tokens that are vested, like, because you don't have access to them, and all the early stage projects, a lot of them will fail, so you just got to really bear that in mind. Also with Coinlist, you've got to think, where's their user base mainly? They don't have America. No Americans are allowed to participate in Coinlist because of the regulatory pain in the I think there is an option but projects say no because it's just too much hassle. And then with the war in Russia and Ukraine, that was a large proportion of Coinlist's user base. A little change in regards to Coinlist. You can see this project's focused a lot more on LATAM, and I think we can say goodbye to the 8, 10, 12x of Coinlist projects straight off the bat, because the ecosystem and the crypto space at large is just a lot more wary at this point in time. But if you like to discuss these things, if you like to get involved in early stage projects, if you like to have decent discussions that are not full of shilly moon boys and actually trying to get to the kernel of the problem of many of these projects in the crypto ecosystem, be it on Solana, be it on Polkadot, be it on Cosmos, which is one I think is going to be one to watch in the coming years, come down to our Telegram. We have a great community of some really, really intelligent people, far smarter than I am. And yeah, come down there, ask your questions, say hello. We have Twitter spaces where we bring value every day. We still try and focus on getting early stage projects and getting our community in the things early that we think are decent, things that we want to hold or we'd be happy to hold for at least 2-3 years. I've left links in the description below, so come down to our Telegram to say hello. Okay, finally, everybody's favorite bit, the tribal tokenomics. So the sale is on sale on the 17th of March, St. Patrick's Day, for you who don't know. It's an ERC20 token. They're trying to raise 31,450,000, and the total tokens will be 1 billion tokens, and the sale price for option was 55 cents, giving it an FDV of 550 million, which is quite a lot of money, but like our idea of what quite a lot of money with Coinlist sales is completely warped now, because we had a few up at about $1 billion, but 550 million. There's also the option 2, which is 40 cents. Now the major differences in the two options, of course you want to know. Well, there's a year lockup period, okay? Option 1, the 55 cent one, that has 6 months release then after a year, so you're done after 18 months, which you start getting your tokens a year from now, so around March 17th, 2023. And then for the 40 cent option, for option 2, you have a year lockup as well, but it's going to be released over the course of 12 months then. But where it gets really just bored, just terrible, like in my opinion, the token distribution is so vague. We get one pie chart. Reserve and community rewards, 43%. What does that mean? No idea. Not for 43%. Are your team tokens included in there? Are your advisors? I'm not quite sure. Early token purchases at 18.59%. Okay, so they're just ones who got in a bit earlier, you know, one of the 8 seed rounding funds. Coinlist sales 6.4%, and early contributors 32%. Now I've no idea what price these people brought the tokens at. The white paper is not out there. I went onto the Discord. Your man was like, oh, well, we will release the white paper soon. I'm like, thanks, like if I'm going to get involved in the sale, I want to know what the early contributors and early backers bought it at. So you'd presume then that us retail investors, yeah, we'll get a nice vesting schedule, won't we? Won't we? Not so much. So basically everybody has a year lockup. Sorry, except for the reserves and community rewards are released at network launch and distributed over time in accordance with community incentive and reward programs. I don't know what that means. It's very wishy-washy. It's not very clear. Early token purchasers, which you can be guaranteed probably bought them cheaper than you did, is a 1-year lockup followed by a 30 to 36 month linear release. So look here, at least that's quite a while, like, you know, 12, 24, 36, it's 3 years. So that's good. I will say that's decent. So that's more or less 4 years in total. Coinlist Sale, we have a 1-year lockup, and the option 1 is the 6-month release, and the option 2 has the 12-month release. You know, incentivize the retailers a little bit more. Give us like a 9-month one, and then have everybody else the year. And the early contributors again have 1-year lockup followed by a 36-month linear release. What I will say there, I was a little bit like ratty at the beginning. There is nice long release schedules for them. That is good, except for the big one, 43%, release at network launch and distributed over time in accordance with community incentives and reward programs. Too vague, guys. No white paper, no clear idea of where 43% of the tokens are going, other than like a one sentence thing. Yeah, like it's just a bit too vague for me personally. Coupled with the year lockup, the market, I don't know. They were also giving away priority queue spots, and if you think 3-4 months ago, you'd have to sell your grandmother to get a priority queue slot with Coinlist. Now they're giving them away, which doesn't. I think little things like that show what might be happening overall in the crypto market. Guys, if you like this content, please give us a like and subscribe. My name is Zach. You've been watching Altcoin Edge. I am out. Bob.